Yo, what's going on, Sofi investors? I'm at work right now, so I snuck down into the filing room so I could give you guys an update on the Jerome Powell meeting and how this affects SoFi and other investments moving forward. Okay, so SoFi is up around 4.5% today. Good day. We're trading around 725 right now as I'm making this video. So, pretty much Powell and the Fed is staying pat for the foreseeable future. They're kind of stuck in the middle right now. He was saying that they don't want to wait too long to cut rates, but they also don't want to cut rates too early, especially because PCE and the CPI were a little hot last month in January. And of course, he says this every meeting: maximum employment and stable prices for Americans. That's what they want. You know, they have a 2% goal of CPI in the long term. We're a little bit above that right now. PCE year over year in February was 2.5%. The core PCE was up 2.8% in the trailing 12 months. In good news, GDP is still good, so it looks like we're avoiding a recession. In the fourth quarter, it was up 3.2% year over year. That's great for the economy, but he did say they expect that to drop down a little bit. They think that the total GDP that was 3.1% in all of 2023 is going to be down to the median prediction of about 2.1%. So in my opinion, anything above 2% is solid. Jerome Powell likes to be pretty conservative. So if we see GDP in that 2.5 to 3% range, that's great. Anything below 2%, that's when we're going to start to get a little bit worried. But 3.2% year over year for the fourth quarter of 2023 is great. So that means the economy is still chugging along and doing very, very well. But they do expect 2.1% as the median prediction of 2024 GDP. Not awesome, but not sound the alarms. The economy is crashing. Unemployment did edge up to 3.9%. But they expect by the end of 2024 to be around 4%. So they're not expecting a huge jump in unemployment for the rest of the year, which is also good for pretty much the entire stock market. If we can keep unemployment below 4.5%, if we get over 5%, that's when shit starts to get a little bit crazy. From what Jerome Powell said in this meeting, this is the most important part. The federal funds rate is currently 5.25% to 5.5%, and they made projections of that scale going down over the next 2 years. So they think it's going to be at 4.6% by the end of 2024, which is great, going from 5.25 to 5.5% in that 4.6% range means a bunch of cuts before the end of 2024. Say if they do 0.25% each time to get down to around 1%, they're going to need to cut 0.25% 4 times or 0.5% twice to get down to that 4.6 range by the end of this year, which is great because for stocks like SoFi, the lower the interest rate goes, the more people are, not as risk adverse to taking on positions like SoFi that are thought to be a little more risky. And then by the end of 2025, they're predicting 3.9% and then 3.1% at the end of 2026. I think the 2025-2026 numbers are a little conservative, but we want to be in that 2.5% range, 2.5 to 2.75% by the end of 2026. That's where I think they will be, but it's great. 4.6 by the end of the year, 3.9 by the end of 2025. So this means they're going to be cutting rates. Are they going to do it in the next 3 or 4 months? I don't know. I think they need a little more data. This way, they could do it late summer or in the fall. Maybe they do it in September a half and then in December another 0.5% to get down to that 4.6-ish range. These are pretty conservative numbers, but we'll see what happens. And they also have really shrunk their balance sheet. Powell said they took off $1.5 trillion off their books and security holdings. That means they're not investing in the stock market and bonds and crap like that, So, but he did say they're slowing the pace in declining their holdings. So, as the rates start to go down, they're going to be able to buy stocks at better prices. So, once rates go down, they're going to start accumulating more holdings as that goes forward over the next 2 years. So, if you're a SoFi investor, I think in the $7 range, you can't go wrong buying. Let me know in the comments below. Is this a good breakdown? I didn't want to go into the real minutia. I think this is like a broad painting of what's happening, what Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, is planning on doing. 4.6 by the end of 24, 3.9 by the end of 25, and 3.1% the federal funds rate at the end of 2026. So that's great. They are planning on cutting rates over the next 2 years and almost 1% by the end of 2024. So they're going to have to get going cutting those rates. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope this helps clear up what's happening with the Fed funds rate a little bit. And if you're a SoFi investor, selling some puts at these prices in that $5, $6 range, that's the strategy I'm using. I'm also buying shares. I bought another 100 shares today, earlier in the day, around $7. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope this helps. Let's go, SoFi. Peace.